about the Common Borders Initiative. We set up a committee last year to look at how we can use the European Citizens Initiative to raise the profile of European borders, because we were appalled to see what was happening on our European borders. The problem is mainly caused because national governments do not see people as their problem unless they are their citizens, or they're on their land, or they're affecting their citizens. And what we're saying is we want to raise awareness of the fact that when someone arrives at Greece or Italy, they think that they're arriving at a European border. And it's therefore the obligation of all national governments to treat those people with dignity and process them as they should be processed. So what we did is we set up the Common Borders Petition, which was kind of a precursor to the initiative. And we had a lot of street actions in many European cities where people handed out flyers, tried to direct people to our Common Borders website and get them to sign the petition. That has now ended, and we have just joined forces with the European Asylum Initiative, because they're another group who share similar objectives to us. And so we are going to be launching a European Citizens Initiative together with them. We'll be registering that in February. We've already had the go-ahead from the European Commission, so that we know it's got a green light. And what this means is that, well, anyone can come to our European Borders website now, see what we're doing, become involved, and that is by having street actions, handing out flyers, just getting people to talk about the problem. One of the things I should say is that originally our plan for the initiative was to be about asylum seekers and migrants, but economic migrants. But one of the things that we've discovered during our time running the petition is that there's even the most liberal-minded people are very hardened against economic migrants. And you know, I've spoken to people at the Children of Calais, and as Nazak spoke earlier, they too are human beings and they deserve to be treated with respect when they arrive. But what we've decided is that by focusing on the asylum seekers, by getting a proper process in place for them, that will also have a knock-on effect to helping the economic migrants. Now, there's political decisions to be made about who is exactly an asylum seeker and who is an economic migrant. But what we're saying is that we need a process in place so that whoever arrives, whether they're asylum seekers, whether they're economic migrants, they need to be treated with respect and not left washing up on beaches or having to march through the continent trying to find someone who will open the door for them. I'll just run through quickly our main proposals for the ECI. The first one, it's been mentioned already, is amending the Dublin regulation to ensure fair distribution of refugees. And the applications would need to be coordinated by the EASO, which is the European Asylum Support Office. I'm afraid there's a lot of anachronisms here. Their mandate should be expanded. Secondly, we need upgrading the EASO agency as a priority to coordinate all the asylum requests received by member states and all aspects of the repatriation process. Now, thirdly, it's fair sharing by the quotas. Now, this has been talked about a lot, and I get very angry about this, so I have to contain myself. I do have a list of all the quotas. The European Commission has already set out what the quotas should be that each member state takes, and the numbers are very easily manageable. you know, the size of the countries and the wealth of European countries means that we could quite easily set up refugee centres within our own countries, and you know, we can help people. As we've seen in Germany the last few days, there have been issues raised that are now being used against our project. And you know, these are people who are coming from different cultures, a lot of people are running away from fleeing for their lives, and you can't just plonk them somewhere and expect them to act like citizens who've lived there all their lives. So, you know, we need to have reception centres, we need to have programs in place that will help people assimilate in the country where they'll be staying, whether that's long-term or short-term. You know, most of these people just need shelter for a period of time before they can return home. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Okay. We need to create permanent European border guard teams controlled by the Commission, or reform Frontex to border patrols, and we need to expand the crisis emergency unit of the ECHO, that's the European Commission Humanitarian Office. They have branches in each member state and they can manage the emergencies. And finally, we need to facilitate the funding. This is quite boring but very important. Funding is needed for the EASO upgrade and also to create the creation of the border guard team. And this funding should come from the member state governments themselves. So what we will do is when we launch our, you know, anyone can come to our website, and when we launch our campaign, we're asking citizens to sign. We need 1 million signatures, and you would think that wouldn't be difficult across all the member states, but from the street actions that I've done, it's quite difficult to get people to sign anything about migrants. So that's the plans of the initiative.